Lay out your pattern according to the cutting instructions. The pattern already comes with sewing allowances, so you just need to cut along the edge. You can pin the patterns on the fabric if that's what you prefer, but here I'm just using pattern rates. I'm cutting 4 layers of fabric altogether. This is because I'm using the same fabric for the main and the lining material. To assemble, you sew together the center front, which is A, and then B, and then C together, D, E, and then F. And then here at the bust cup, we have the upper cup and 2 lower cups. So you sew 2 lower cups together and then the upper cup. To match the seam allowance, just simply slide in the pattern and then make sure the needle hits the sewing line and then place your seam guide right along the side. Now you're ready to sew all of the seams together. Because the seams match, you don't have to worry about the sewing lines. You can just simply follow the edge. So to assemble, center front first, and then B, C, D, E, and then F. So I'm done sewing the main and the lining. I'm gonna sew a boning case, so I'm top stitching the main and the lining opposites to each other. Sew both layers together, raw sides inside, and then just trim the edges. I already prepared my bias tape for the boning channels. Sew them along the seams both sides. Top stitch the top edge around 1/2 inch because we need to trim down the seam allowance. The seam allowance is 1 centimeter, so when you cut, the stitch will still be there. Now it's time to finish the top edge. First, you bias bind the arms and then the top side. Now prepare your boning material. Here I'm using plastic boning. This is what will be inserted in the boning channels for support. I'm torching both ends so it won't be pokey. Sew 1/2 inch all on the bottom side to seal the boning and then trim the seam allowance out. After that, just simply finish it with the bias bind. For the bust cup, you can make your own bust cup using the same pattern, or easier is if you can find a large enough bust cup to cover the entire thing. So again, to assemble, you connect the lower cups together. The top stitching is optional, you can just simply iron them and then trim out the seam to make it less bulky. When you connect the lower cup to the upper cup, make sure the center is aligned. You can also pin this in place. After top stitching and trimming, we now have a bust cover. When you pin it on the bust cup, make sure everything lays flat. Place pins all around the bust cup till it's nice and smooth. You can keep adjusting as you go. Make sure everything is smoothened out. You can keep adjusting your pins if necessary. Once you're done with this, it'll be ready to sew all around. Sew 1/2 inch away from the edge. Make sure you're hitting the foam cup underneath. Just sew all around the bust cup, removing pins along the way. Once you're done, it should look like this. Here's a view from the back. After this, we trim out the seam allowance. Just cut all around 1 centimeter. The stitch line should still be there after you cut it. Now all that's left to do is bias bind the bottom and the top edge. For bias binding, I start sewing from the wrong edge so that I can fold and top stitch the front. I seal both ends with the top stitch, trim the excess out, and then torch the raw edges. This is just the simplest way to do it. This torching thing only works with polyester. Waist tape is optional, but it will strengthen your corset. After pinning that in place, the simplest way is to just stitch on the outside. But you can also hand sew from the inside like what I did here. This is optional, but I added boning to the top for more structure. Now all we need to do is finish the closure. I'm just using a jacket zipper, but you can finish it however you like a lace back with grommets or loops. For the bust cup, hand sew along this edge and also this seam. And now you're done. This pattern is available on my Etsy and Shopee. Links are in my website. So this is me wearing it. I'm in the size medium. I don't like showing my arms, so I'm gonna cover him now. So now I'm just here trying to model it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. If you wanna buy these sewing patterns, links are in my website, sewme.com. Thank you, like and subscribe.